Hey guys, sorry it's been a couple days. I really appreciate everybody reaching out to me because it gives me an idea of what to talk about next. So I'm kind of just going to go down the credit factors in order. And so what's next is I'm going to talk about age of credit history. So age of credit history is a medium impact. It can be important, but also cannot be important depending on what you're applying for. But it medium impacts your credit score. And the reason why I say that is because when you go to get something like a mortgage, they're going to want to see different types of credit. Whether it's a loan, whether it's revolving credit, they want to see multiple. They don't want to see that you've had one credit card for 3 months. They really want to see that you can handle it. So I will tell you with age of credit history too, is a lot of people don't understand that it's an average. It calculates like a GPA. Let's say you've had a card for 20 years and you've had one for 10 years. It's going to calculate as if you had a history of 15 years. It's your average. So I will say I've had people ask me, well, how do I increase that? And there's only one way to increase that I'm aware of. And that is basically by having somebody add you as an authorized user. And I'll explain. So I will say my son has had, he is an authorized user on my credit cards. He has been since he's 14 years old, I think, 15. But when he turns 18 years old, we will write the three credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. And I will say, hi, my name is so-and-so. It'll be as if he's writing a letter. You know, this is my social security number. I am an authorized user on these accounts. We'll list the account numbers and we'll say, please add them to my credit bureau. What'll happen is that they will add him to the credit bureau, and then they will add the accounts to the credit bureau, and then he will pick up the age of that account. So if I have had that card for 11 years and I only had one, well, guess what happens now? He has 11 years of credit history. But let's say that I add him to one, that the average ends up 5 years because I've had one for 10 years and I've had one for 1 year, the average, 5. So you really do want to look at what accounts you're adding on if you're trying to increase the age of credit history. It's probably not in your best interest to add to an account that was newly opened. The longer it is, the better it is. But with that, you also want to look at the payment history to see if the payments aren't on time. You really don't want to add that person. You want to look at the length and you want to look at the available credit. If you're somebody that's not using that card every now and then, it could not be. If you're not using it every now and then, it could be a negative impact because that card could potentially be ready to close for inactivity. So you do want to consider that. So the ideal person is going to have a credit card that's been open for 7 or more years. Looking at the color, good or excellent. If they're going to want to be a card that they very rarely use, they pay on time and pretty much pay off. So when you do that, you're going to shoot up your age of credit history, but also keep in mind that you're going to throw your debt to income ratio for credit card usage because you're going to have, let's see if I can find where I had it. This particular person I was looking at earlier today, it was somebody else, but they had, let's see if I have it. This will be another video, but it will include, let's say they have a $10,000 limit and they're not using it. That's going to also throw your credit card usage in order because this will drop down the percentage of usage that's being used because it's now on your credit report as available credit that you're not using. Keep in mind that could be positive and negative because maybe if you're going to get a house, they could think, well, you have too much open credit. That's not a good thing either. So, there's ways to manipulate it, but it could be a negative way to manipulate it. So you just want to keep that in mind. But it's something to think about and keep in mind with this chart. I love using this app, but with the chart, good, medium, and the impact of it, keep in mind where you're at and look at that. Look at, is it really worth somebody adding you onto their card? Keep in mind that person all of a sudden could have emergency. I had this happen with one person. They were like, oh, it was their mom. They're like, she'll never use that card. She's had it open for years. And then boom, all of a sudden emergency happens and mom's maxed out that credit card. And you might have her age of credit history, but now you have her history of charging that card and using what she has, and now it's going to impact you. So that's something to consider. But that is the only way that I know to manipulate the age of credit history. If something's out there and it's very possible, I'm not aware of it. So if you know something, let me know. But age of credit history, and that's how you can manipulate that.